New information on the family shot and killed in their sleep in Duluth. Police say a man shot and killed his aunt, uncle, 2 cousins, and a family dog while they were all sleeping. The police chief shared those details during a news conference just a short time ago. The victims are 44, 47, 12, and 9 years old. The suspect is a family member who posted a threat on social media about harming himself and his family. Police discovered the bodies yesterday. This afternoon, Duluth's police chief spoke on not only the impacts of the deaths on the community, but also to his officers.
I got to tell you, it's tough on all of us. It's tough on our cops. Some our police officers, a lot of them, they have families, and anytime you go into a situation like this and you see that tragedy, it is terribly heart-wrenching, and you can't unsee it.
A medical examiner has concluded the family was shot while they were sleeping. A 9mm handgun was found at the scene. A statewide large-scale drug investigation in Minnesota led to 14 arrests in multiple counties. The Cass County Sheriff's Office in Minnesota says $11,000 and a few pounds of meth have been seized so far. Investigators identified 35-year-old Jeffrey Lee Thorson as the leader of several cases. Officials say he used people to transport meth from the Twin Cities to northern Minnesota to sell. That investigation is still ongoing. The Clay County Sheriff is investigating the death of a person found in a slough north of Hawley. Deputies confirmed a dead body was found floating in a ditch yesterday afternoon. They also found tire tracks entering the ditch with small trees and branches knocked over and what appear to be tire rims underwater. Valley Water Rescue was called in to help pull the car out of the water. It's not clear yet when that crash happened or if weather was a factor. The victim's name has not been released. Nathan joins us now with a first look at your forecast. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. Happy Thursday, everyone. Had some clouds around, but a nice lull in the weather today. See some sun peeking through, but I think clouds better rule of order here today from our Corwin Auto Tower cam. Temperatures also not too bad, but we are well below average at this hour, considering the average high for this time of year is in the upper 50s. But clouds abundant for almost everybody. Look out toward Dickinson, though. We are starting to see some rain entering western North Dakota. That's going to be moving through overnight tonight and bringing the chance of some rain and so even some snow up to the north here overnight. We'll talk about that here in just a couple seconds. If you're heading out tonight, 42 right now in Fargo, 44 Jamestown. Again, still well below, about 15 degrees below average at this hour in Fargo for where we should be for this time of year. Still seeing some 30s up toward the north, quite a bit cooler. Devil's Lake Basin seeing those mid-30s. This colder area here is where we're more likely to see some of that snow developing here overnight tonight. But in Fargo for this evening, if you do have those Thursday evening plans, looks like we're cooling to near 40 there by 10 o'clock and staying in the upper 30s for a good chunk of the overnight hours tonight. Southeast wind will pick up after about 8 o'clock tonight for everybody, though, and that will keep temperatures fairly stable overnight tonight into tomorrow. But notice Grand Forks, chance of that rain after about 2 a.m. May see a few flakes up toward Grand Forks as well. But of course, we've got a first alert weather day raised to Stacy for Saturday, watching for the potential of some strong to severe thunderstorms. So some summer weather, but also some snow still in the forecast. So we'll break down all that in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks so much, Nathan. New information now about a former West Fargo city employee accused of domestic assault. Tim Solberg will be headed to trial next month. Police were called to Solberg's home back in January when officers learned a woman had been assaulted. Court documents say the woman told police that he grabbed her and threw her to the ground, leaving her unconscious. 3 children were in the home at the time. Documents also state Solberg became uncooperative while officers tried to arrest him. His trial is expected to start May 3rd. Solberg is the former assistant city administrator. President Biden is announcing more funding for Ukraine after Russia launched a heightened assault in the eastern part of the country. New satellite images also show evidence of mass graves near the war-torn city of Mariupol. Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
Good morning, everyone.
Calling it a critical window of time ahead of the next phase of the war in Ukraine, President Biden says another $800 million worth of defense assistance is on the way.
Now we have to accelerate that assistance package to help prepare Ukraine for Russia's offensive that's going to be more limited in terms of geography, but not in terms of brutality.
Among the weapons being sent, 72 howitzers, ammunition, tactical drones, and vehicles. The president also said the U.S. has provided 10 anti-armor systems for every one Russian tank in Ukraine.
We won't always be able to advertise everything that our partners are doing to support Ukraine and its fight for freedom, but to modernize Teddy Roosevelt's famous advice, sometimes we will speak softly and carry a large javelin, because we're sending a lot of those in as well.
President Biden also said he'll ask Congress for more money next week to keep weapons flowing into Ukraine without interruption.
We have the capacity to do this for a long time.
In the besieged city of Mariupol, Ukrainian civilians and soldiers remain inside a steel plant surrounded by Russian forces. President Putin is now ordering his troops to block it so, quote, not even a fly can get through. 12 miles west of Mariupol, new satellite images show more than 200 mass graves. They started appearing March 23rd and have expanded this month. There are reports Russian soldiers are burying bodies here of people killed in Mariupol. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
President Biden also announced a new program, Unite for Ukraine, that will bring Ukrainian refugees from Europe to the U.S. Refugees who have a U.S. sponsor, like a family member, can take advantage of a streamlined immigration process. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is among 5 people named as recipients of the John F. Kennedy Profile in Courage Award for acting to protect democracy. According to the foundation, Zelensky was chosen because of the way he has, quote, marshaled the spirit, patriotism, and untiring sacrifice of the Ukrainian people in a life-or-death fight for their country. 4 other recipients, Republican U.S. Representative Liz Cheney, Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, Arizona House Speaker Rusty Bowers, and Fulton County, Georgia elections worker Shay Moss were chosen for standing up for free and fair elections. The transportation mask mandate is only getting more confusing after the CDC asked the Justice Department to appeal the ruling that got rid of the mandate, setting the country up for a legal showdown. That mandate has been in place since last February. Tonight, Michael George has the latest from LaGuardia.
The Biden administration is extending its requirement for all non-U.S. citizens entering the U.S. to be fully vaccinated, while trying to reinstate the transportation mask mandate.
There's going to be an appeal by the Justice Department.
A federal judge in Florida struck down the CDC mask requirement on airplanes, trains, and buses Monday, leading all major airlines to make masks optional on flights.
I'm going to wear a mask on the plane. I don't feel uncomfortable now not wearing one.
The issue is of real concern for travelers like Brian Vastag, who has an autoimmune disorder.
I am constantly assessing my risk. I'm not going to know, is there somebody on the plane who's sick right now?
While the TSA is no longer enforcing the rule, passengers are still required to mask up in airports, including terminals here at LaGuardia.
We have to do all kinds of things to protect other people in the society, and the masking is just another thing.
In a statement, the CDC defended the mask mandate, saying, quote, at this time, an order requiring masking in the indoor transportation corridor remains necessary for the public health.
There's a lot of stuff still going on, and I just think that it should not be lifted as of yet.
COVID-19 cases are rising in several states across the country, driven by BA2. The Omicron subvariant now makes up about 75% of new cases in the U.S. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Meanwhile, the FAA will make its zero-tolerance policy against unruly passengers permanent. The Florida House of Representatives passed a bill today that would dissolve Walt Disney World's private government. That move could have huge tax implications for Disney, whose series of theme parks have transformed Orlando into one of the world's most popular tourist destinations. The measure comes after a dispute with Disney involving the company's criticism of the new law barring instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through 3rd grade, as well as instruction on the topic. In March, Disney said it would suspend political donations in the state and added that it would in turn support organizations working to oppose the new law. Elon Musk says he has $46.5 billion and is ready to buy Twitter. The CEO of Tesla has offered to buy all remaining shares he doesn't already own of the social media platform. However, Twitter's board of directors doesn't seem interested in the offer. Last week, the board announced a poison pill move to make it harder for Musk to acquire the company. According to an SEC filing, Musk is willing to pay $54.20 per share, which would value the company at nearly $43.5 billion. Amazon is opening up Prime deliveries to third-party retailers. Buy with Prime allows merchants to put their Prime badge on their website and list items available for free next-day or two-day delivery. It's the latest move from the online retail giant to compete with rivals UPS and FedEx. And Best Buy is offering a new service to pick up your large tech items that need to be recycled. It's called the Best Buy Standalone Haul-Away Service. Workers will remove up to 2 items from homes per visit. That includes things like big screen TVs and washing machines, as well as smaller items like laptops and gaming consoles. But there's a catch. Best Buy is charging $200 for each pickup.